of the first victory celebration in America. We're going to begin our celebration with a few remarks from State Representative Robert Delfonte.
Thank you, and hello, Elysburg and Ralpho Township. I'm very pleased to have been asked to kick today's ceremonies off and also to be the main speaker later on at the celebration that will be held at the Memorial Park. It's turned out to be such a great day. It's a great day for America. It's a great day for Pennsylvania. I'd like to invite all of you, after the wreath laying and the monument dedication, to join in the parade out to the Memorial Park and join in the festivities which will take place out there. Once again, I'd like to thank the organizations who have made today's event possible, and hope to see you all out at Memorial Park in a few minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Delfonte. Our next speaker will be Fred Billman, who will take part in the wreath laying ceremony here at the memorial. Mr. Billman.
At this time, we would like to honor Henry Tamanini, a World War II veteran who passed away last February. Henry decorated the graves of all veterans of every war on Memorial Day for the past 40 years. Henry was responsible for this memorial and for the names of servicemen who were killed in action during past wars. Whenever an ex-GI would have a problem, Henry was always there to help. Henry, you are gone, but certainly not forgotten. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Agnes Tamanini and son Henry Tamanini Jr., who will place a wreath on this monument in memory of Henry. May we please observe a moment of silent prayer for all our deceased servicemen and women, and especially for all our troops who are safe returned from the Persian Gulf. Thank you. Thank you. Sailor.
Lester.
Well, they should have been at the end of the play to pick up the one that was going to make the hill.
How you guys doing? Hey, sure, it's up situation.
I looked last night. Right out there.
Ready? Okay, well, I'm in ball. You tell me. Better. All right. Marion and Sandy.
I hope he looks good from the backside, so I'm taking that too. Yeah, I saw.
Where is he? I think Buddy's with side forward.
Oh, I can't pass up gum here.
Yeah, they're throwing them up off the truck.
You want some more? I'm going to set the VCR for channel 28 tonight. cowboy.
For a ride and they kept putting me in here. We couldn't get out. Oh, shush. We were going for a ride, then we saw her dad and we thought we'd better come back because it looked like he wanted to talk. And now I can't get out of Elisburg. I'm parked up at Time Market. You want to sit here for a while? That was like my jacket. You just missed these mom. Look at that thing. Can't get his horse. It's going that way.
How about you go to the
No way! Did you see Weed and Mom walk by? These are still listen.
Good job, Dan. Oh, go, Kelly, go.
Yeah! I don't know. Why didn't you set everything
The girl up in front.
Huh?
The girl in front called your name.
Where?
You know, thing right there.
Location with our own Father Slough.
Let us now place ourselves in the presence of the Lord. Eternal God, it is through your bidding that we all come into this world, and it is with your guidance that we hopefully make the most of life. And it is into your hands that we surrender our lives when we depart this world. Today we are ever grateful for you as our good shepherd who never leaves us or forsakes us. On this day we pause in special gratitude for the many fine young men and women who in this war and other wars are so willing to give the last full measure of devotion for our nation so that we might live in greater freedom. While it's difficult for us to get a clear picture of our extent of our indebtedness to them, we do get some vision of it when we observe the suppression of and governmental control, which is the lot of so many, unfortunately, in our world today. So we thank you, our God, that you have thus far blessed us with freedom. We ask that you give us strength and courage to resist any inroads upon our freedom, so that we might pass on to the next generation a nation dedicated more fully than ever to the principles of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Bless, O Lord, our prayers and demonstrations of victory today. And as part of our celebration, we ask that we may always be endowed with love for our America. We ask that as part of that love, that we always know and acknowledge your blessings and providence upon our nation. And so in particular today, we are grateful and thankful for a quick and victorious end to the war, and so the saving of so many lives, and the return of and the freedom of so many. Lord, may we ever love you and ever proclaim in our country, in God we trust. God bless America, so that ever upon our land the star-spangled banner in triumph shall wave, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Amen.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
For the flag
best thing to say is congratulations to this community on a great celebration today. You know, sitting there, I thought, well, what a change in what's happened over the years, and to look out and see the patriotism which we see here today. And I think you're to be congratulated. You know, many wonder what this war is all about. Some say it's oil. To some degree, that's possibly correct. But it goes deeper than that. There are those here today whose memories go back more than 50 years ago. I was just a young boy when Adolf Hitler came into power in Germany. It wasn't long ago, it wasn't long until he began his march across Europe. And what did the powers do about it? They initiated a program of what they called in those days appeasement. Surely this appeasement would solve all the world's problems of that time. From President Bush to General Schwarzkopf to the men in the field.
Sit down on the grass, hon.
They outmaneuvered, they outfought, and most importantly, they outhumanized the enemy in what will probably be known as a 100 Days War. But let us not forget the 6 weeks of constant bombardment by the Allied Air Forces. Some say we made enemies. Our field hospitals are taking care of the enemy as well as our own. Yes, we are saddened very much by the loss of some of our fighting men. But we are also joyed by news that never before in the history of warfare was there such a small loss of life in a war of this proportion. But what we say here today is not really that important. The important thing is what our fighting men did over there. And the other thing is what we do over here when they return. You can bet your life Kuwait will never forget the Americans. Move it. You remember the story that came out over television yesterday about a Kuwait woman who just gave birth to a young child? She went out on the street and she said the first American she meets, she's going to find out what his name is, and that's going to be the name of her child. Well, she happened to run into a American reporter, and that child's name will be Christopher from this day on. You can be sure that those who seek power, fortune, and personal gain at the expense of his fellow man, like the Hitlers and the Saddam Husseins, will think many times before they decide to exploit people of other nations again. This coalition worked, and it would work again. This nation has been overwhelmingly behind our fighting men. Let us not falter now. When Johnny comes marching home again, let us all rally again. Let us all rally behind them to show them how we appreciate what they have done. Thank you very much.
Mr. Merle Phillips.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. Representative Alfundi, other elected officials, members of the clergy, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to have an opportunity to share a few words with you, and by looking over this crowd, this is a tremendous turnout and a show of support. The mixing of war and politicians provides fertile grounds for rhetoric. But today, more than ever, I don't feel it's appropriate to focus on damning Saddam Hussein and his despicable actions in the Middle East, even though that would be very easy to do. Because I think we all feel pretty much the same way about him. Rather, today, it's appropriate time to honor our peacemakers, our freedom fighters, our soldiers of the New World Order. I must agree with President Bush. The cause was right, and the cause was just. Today, let us raise our thoughts to a higher level as we honor our brave American troops who fought on a distant desert, and to the reason they were there. But before we do, I ask that we observe a moment of silence for our fallen friends. This week in Greensburg, Pennsylvania, residents held a memorial service for 13 soldiers from a local Army Reserve unit who were killed Monday. So just for a moment, let us pause in silence. Part of such a gathering, because it is not the oratory we hear, but rather the inner feelings of each of us that the true memorial exists. For while the giving of one's life is, as Abraham Lincoln said, the last full measure of devotion, those who come home from the war also deserve not merely our grateful thanks, but also our salute. In tribute to all of those who have fought in all our country's wars, and particularly the Persian Gulf War, we honor the valiant men and women who have served their was for a good cause. It was more than to bring a dictator to his knees. It was to show the world that we will not stand idly by and allow injustice upon our neighbors. This gathering is something that by our love and friendship we have felt appropriate to do. The yellow ribbons that are around, the rekindled patriotism that is evident in the flying of our flag, are statements of our love and a concern for our troops.